are you, Ryan?
This is Froggen, which we've been told is something between a frog and a dragon. And Froggen hasn't been lit yet, but he's been constructed over the last month or so. And this is the fourth clay oven that we've built. And three of them have been very successful, and one looked very successful, was a structural disaster area waiting to happen. And so I'll explain about that in a minute. So this is Froggen, and he's made of three different clays, but it's not that complicated a story to tell really. But underneath it all, in there is a willow basket. And the willow basket is just something we made out of the willow from the grounds here. And we just wove some willow until it was tight enough and strong enough to take the weight of the oven. And that's a lot of clay over there, probably in excess of half a ton, maybe even 3/4 of a ton of clay there. And this willow structure was made out of fresh willow, and that was the first thing we started with. And that sat on top of these fire bricks, and the fire bricks are what contains the heat. There's actually two layers of fire bricks. There's the layer here, and then there's a layer the whole unit stands on. And so these fire bricks were put down, and this basket was put on top. And then on top of that, we put some newspaper, and then we put some sand to get the right height of the internal dome. And the internal dome has to be worked out to be in concordance with the measurement of the hole. And so you need a dome that's just under 3/4 of the way bigger than the measurement of the hole to get the right circulation of heat, and to get the heat circulating around inside and then up the chimney. So the idea of these ovens is that you heat the clay and then you remove the heat source. So you remove the sticks that form the fire, and then you just have all the heat held in the clay. And then if you've done a good job, that clay will stay hot for quite a while. If you insulate the oven with an insulation layer on top, which I think is quite good in this country because the weather's so cold and miserable, even in the summer sometimes. If you insulate it, you're supposed to get another couple of hours of usable heat. And we've insulated this one. So the first thing we did was we put this willow half basket in there, put some newspaper on top, and then packed that with sand, and then put this chimney at the back, which is a galvanised tube with a lid, which you can get an ironmonger to make for not a lot of money actually. And you put that in the back, and then you put the sand, and then what you're doing is you're forming the void by building the sand. So whatever the sand is going to be a void in the end, which will be full of the heat. And then for the first time, we went to the clay cellar in Tunbridge, which is a great local resource for potters, and we bought this clay, which is specific clay that's been generated and mixed by them for making pizza ovens. So you can actually now buy the right clay. I reckon that we had something to do with that because they've been so interested in our clay building over the years, and I think actually that's helped them to try and move that forward. So you can buy this. It's a little bit more expensive than standard clay, but clay on the whole isn't that expensive. You get a lot for not a lot of money. However, this takes a lot of clay to build. So we used about for this oven, which will be good for maybe 2 10-inch pizzas. We used about 30 bags of this clay. So when we started to lay the clay down, we have a mould, a brick mould that we've made, several brick moulds, And the brick mould needs to be the width the oven's going to be. So our brick mould is 4 inches wide by about 9 inches long. And you pick the clay up in lumps and you throw it very, very, very hard into the mould to try and get rid of the air pockets. Because air pockets are bad news, as it can make the clay fracture. A little bit damp. We waited for a little while before we put the insulating layer on top. And so the insulating layer is a lot of fun actually, because what you need to do is you need to mix up clay until it becomes runny, called a slip, which is like goo, sort of gluey goo. And what we did was we put lots of wood chips into it, and then we